Hey everybody, what's going on? Jim Deedlow here, WJOB. I'm getting ready to go to Chicago. Not really sure why. It's a beautiful day. Could be riding a bike. Just got this inkling, and something's going to happen. How does that sound? So I'm going to head on up there, see what happens, see what's going on with these protests that cannot be defined. AM 1230 WJOB.
Show me what democracy looks like! Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
What democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
What democracy looks like!
I love you, buddy.
You know, it's weird. What is it, October 11th of 2011, 10/11/11. I came downtown to get some tape from the protesters, and here you see I'm right by the Chicago Board of Trade. And I talked to a few, just sat around for a little bit, and but mostly I just kept running into traders I used to trade with. Ran into Steve Jacobson. He was a big spreader in the 5 to 10 year pit. First thing I see him, he doesn't even say hello. He says, "I'm a dinosaur. Yes, I'm still here." And so what has it been? It's probably been 7 years since I walked in the buildings down here. And I'm only walking in the buildings to walk past to see what the protesters are doing. And but anyways, I run into a Richard Swanberg. We talk about a friend of ours who, David Scalina, who's set to do 5 years in federal prison on a trade that's really kind of even hard to understand for me as a former trader what exactly went down, but I'm sure there was something. Of course, we also talked about Ed Sarvey, who has gone and passed. Basically, he was looking at a lot of years also and wound up kind of drinking himself to death. That was a very sad wake not too long ago. I also ran into Patrick Foll. He has used to be a broker, told me of his situation. It was kind of interesting. He talked about, you know, everybody struggling after they leave the Board of Trade. So I came down here to get some tape with some protesters, but I wound up talking to so many traders that it kind of dissipated as I was the protesters kind of moved away. But you get the Board of Trade, and then right to the north of that were the protesters down here, and you can see some of that footage. But it was kind of a personal journey back into God. It's been so long since I did this. Why'd I do this? Why'd I leave? All sorts of questions going on. And one thing I do miss from all of that is the activity in this area of the Board of Trade. Right now, there's, of course, plenty of protesters coming and going, but just the trucks and the people and the bars. Of course, the bars. You know how that is. But anyways, here it is, October 11th, 2011. I'm Jim Deedlow, AM 1230, WJOB. Well, why not drive back from the city? I only did this for 18 years, huh? It's kind of interesting and really kind of a boring day in terms of going to see the protests. I didn't quite see them, but I did see a bunch of, a number of traders. Anyways, just checking out the iPad, driving down the Dan Ryan. We'll take a look here. Plenty of lanes, actually moving pretty well right now. We'll switch it around, see what you can see. Do it this way. Coming back, 3 o'clock on the dot, October 11th, 2011. Just went up to see some of the protests in Chicago, going down the Dan Ryan. Now, I did drive this for the better part of 18 years. And mostly I took the train, but maybe once or twice a week I would drive this, say once a week. And it was never like this. It was always packed all the way across. So this is just a beautiful surprise. It's at 3 o'clock right now. And most of those 18 years I'd have been coming through here around 2:30, 2:45. What are we at around, let's see, 87th Street. So yeah, but it is just moving. Look at all that room. Just a sign of the economy. Actually, the protesting that we're seeing, I believe, is somewhat of a sign of the economy. Even though the economy's bad, there is an aggregation, an aggregating of the money at the very top, and it just keeps getting worse. And eventually, you get a natural outpouring against that. And it doesn't matter where you sit politically. That's just kind of what happens. I think in the 2008, 2009, in that area, I railed pretty hard on the radio about, I don't know what's going to happen here, but every time you suck money out of the center of the country and you give it to the big rich people on the corners or on the coasts, then you are setting yourself up for a problem. And the protesting and the discontent that is going on right now may be part of that. On the other hand, I mean, we do have a political democracy, correct? What do you want, a financial democracy? Wouldn't that be like socialism? So at some point, there needs to be not necessarily a changing of the system as far as I'm concerned, but just kind of a re-examination of our priorities. I mean, why is Warren Buffett a folk hero? Remember that. It's because we want him to be. We all want to be rich. We're all in on the game. But why is that? Why is there such this massive admiring of wealth and striving for it? I mean, where's the quality of life factors? The simplicity, the knowing that you are in touch with your surroundings and so forth. That you're in the present. I don't know. I don't get it. I ask those questions all the time. At the same time, I love the markets. I think they're, the simple competition and hand-to-hand combat of small business and of the markets themselves when I was in the pits is a thing of beauty in and of itself. So you tell me. I better put the iPad down now, don't you think?